Okay, good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to the Unity Trading Model live demonstration. We're going to be demonstrating our Excel trading model live in the financial markets. We're looking at the euro, US dollar. Jay Powell, chairman of the Federal Reserve, is currently talking somewhere in the world, so we've had a bit of volatility. How you doing, Ren? With me is Ren Vallow as usual. How you doing, Ren?
Good morning, Mark. Doing well. Yep, we're just watching the fireworks. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I don't know what he is saying. I don't know what the context is, but we had a
yeah.
big move earlier, so interesting to see if that is sustained. We're actually in a
Yeah.
trade, and I will demonstrate. You can see here on the top left-hand corner of your screen, this is the MetaTrader 5, the MT5 terminal, which is how we access the markets, how we get the price data, and how we enter and exit trades. We're not affiliated with MT5 at all, and everything that we do and you do as a user of Unity is done through Excel. But the reason we like MT5, and the reason I'll ask Ren to talk a bit more about that in a moment, is that it is a non-broker specific platform. You can get it wherever you're based in the world. You can get it regulated by your local financial regulator, so you have that security. It's a very robust platform, and we'll talk about a little bit about that in a moment. But I'm just going to zoom in here, and you can see the MT5 platform, and you can see we're in a trade. We're in a long trade that was taken after what I can only assume is Powell talking. He has weakened somewhat the US dollar, and this euro US dollar pair is currently trading higher than its previous range, and we entered a trade at a nice little pullback actually, and you can see that just highlighting it with my cursor on the screen here. Nice little pullback. We had this pin candle and we have shot off upwards from there. That's a decent little trade to get us started. Yeah, Rem, why do we use MT5?
Okay, yeah. So MT5 is just a very flexible platform. Like you said, it's broker independent. So you're not tied to one broker for the data feed. There is some free data feed for people to use, pretty much unlimited. So if you're just getting started and you want to see how things work, you can do it without paying any money or even setting up an account, which is in the United States, you can run the data for free on the currencies, the currency pairs, where you don't even have to give them a valid email address. They just let you try it out. So that's kind of great if you want to just see how things work before you would really put money down and start setting up your brokerage account and funding it. The other thing is it's very flexible with your brokerage accounts that you do have. They'll let you do like a paper trading account along with your cash account. So again, no money at risk until you're ready and your strategy is exactly where you want it to be before you start trading. So those things are really nice. It gives you a lot of flexibility. There's a ton of tools in MT5, probably one of the most robust systems I've seen. And if somebody's interested in coding their own algorithms, they can code it right into the platform, which is really nice. The backend's basically open. And of course, it makes it very easy for us to integrate with Excel. And that's really important because what we're trying to do is bring everything to the front so you can see what's happening in every row and column of your trading strategy, so you can watch it carefully and understand how it's working, and then communicate that back to MT5 to put your trades through. So that's the beauty of it. You're not limited in any way, and you can see what's happening. So we always say it's the opposite of a black box because it's wide open. You can see every row and column. And if you have a question about some Excel coding, Mark and I are here to help out with that as well. So Excel's an easy to understand platform. There's tons of videos that Mark has put out on how to code indicators, your own custom indicators, the indicators that everybody is aware of out there today. So it's a great platform to integrate to Excel. So that's really the main reason we use it.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks for that, Ren. Yeah, it's just a good platform. Both you and I have used it in the past, way in the past, but we've come back to it. You found it actually recently. We were
Yeah.
previously accessing the prices and taking trades through a different system. This is the best one we found. Works really well, and the advantage of that is if you're comfortable in Excel, you can do all your programming, if your analysis in Excel, or you can just monitor it in Excel. I'll go through and we'll have a look at the Excel spreadsheet in a moment. You can do everything from Excel, and MT5 just handles the rest. pretty seamlessly and in the background.
Yep, it does, and it's also secure too because no personal information is transmitted between Excel and MT5. So MT5 takes care of all the credentials and trading with your broker, and Excel just handles all the indications, like all your trade indications with your indicators and just the data. So you don't have to worry about any credentials being passed back and forth, which is really nice. In other platforms, they ask you to send the credentials with the trade stuff, which we don't have to do any of that with this. So this is really good.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Super. It's a good platform and it integrates with what we are doing. We're looking at the using Excel, helping you use Excel, which is really easy to use as well, both for back testing, for forward testing, which it's so easy to do with this platform because you can just plug it into a demo account, a paper trading account. You can try all your ideas. You can see how your strategy works in real time. It's not easy to do that normally. And then when you're ready, as Ren said just a moment ago, you flick it onto your live account and it will open and close trades exactly as your system is designed for. So there's no emotions, everything is taken care of, but you can sit there, monitor it and take an overview of the strategy. If you're watching this live or indeed on catch up and you have not got onto the email list to find out more about this system, it is available. It's available right now. There's a link below the video on YouTube. Click on that and you'll get on the email list. You'll be able to try out the demo version and you'll be able to see what plans are available right now.
Yep.
Any questions, drop them in the chat and we will get to them as soon as we can. So the Excel model is what we're focused on today. We're using our strategy 2. We're not looking at a particular direction today. What we've often found is that particularly for the currency pairs, Euro, US dollar and cable, we've done pretty well. We've tried Aussie dollar. I think we tried silver. Did we try silver last week? But silver we did directionally.
Last week silver was good. Yeah, we tried it. I liked it.
But we did that directionally. We're looking. So it depends on your market philosophy. It depends on what's working for you. But at the moment, we are taking long and short trades with Euro USD, and if I'm going to scroll down here and I'll zoom in fact into Excel, see the platform here, and I'll just give you a bit more screen to see. You can see we're almost dead flat over the last 1,000 bars of data on the 1 minute time frame. So over the last 1,000 minutes of data, we're essentially flat. So yeah. Strategy is taking some trades and it's nudging upwards. A couple of things we introduced and we talked about last week, Ren, with this ability to integrate backtesting into the forward testing system.
Yes, with the additional rows of data. Yeah, lots of rows.
Yeah, so this is a simple thing. You do it all again. Everything is done in Excel and you set how much data you want to test. So if you want to backtest your strategy, you want to do it over whatever time period you like, really, but you can import that data automatically using MT5. It comes from your broker's account, so it's exactly the data you'll be trading with, and you could set 10,000 rows or as many rows of data as you want. Just click. In fact, you need to restart the interface. The data will be automatically pulled into the spreadsheet for you.
Yep. Which is great. That's a nice feature to have, and you can really do a lot of back testing with it before you get involved in the forward testing.
Yeah, you gave me your quick daily routine last week, Ren. Would you mind going over that again? You were saying about how you start off with a back test.
Yeah, so I start off from a back test. I just start with like about 10,000 rows of data, depending on the time frame, and shorter term time frame. Mark and I've been playing with the 5 minute and 1 minute quite a bit lately, just so we have these demos. So I've been focused on that and downloading 10,000 rows of data, finding out, optimizing it for whatever strategy I'm working on to find out the best strategy to work with. And then once I've got that dialed in, then I go back down to 1,000 rows of data, or even 500 if I'm trying to speed the system up a little bit. But yeah, 1,000 rows is fine. And then I can forward test, and I'm getting very comparable results, which is good.
So you start with a larger amount of data, and then when you're ready to trade, you focus it down. we've been using 1,000 rows of data, and that's a bit of a habit. I think that's probably 500 or say 600, which
Under,
would
yep.
be 600 minutes worth of
Yeah.
data. Obviously, you can do less than that, and you will get really the current market conditions, because on the 1 minute time frame, things change pretty quickly from session to session. If you're trading stocks, we got the opening bell in New York. We got stock market opening in about a minute is time. You've usually got a bell for us.
Yes. Oh, yeah. So I don't think our bell's working today.
Oh, the bell's not working. Okay, but
No, we're
normally,
just
well,
ring the bell here. I think we're currently
we've got the old school bell
the old
normally
school bell. Yeah.
ringing at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. There's a
Yes.
ton of liquidity flies into the market. We almost always see volatility. We see larger price ranges, and depending on what you want to do, whether you want to avoid that or whether you're actively seeking out that volatility, those larger price ranges, you can time the model to go in at those specific times. We've got I'll scroll down here and I'll zoom in for a moment. Another thing is trading at specific times of day. No matter what you're trading, if it's going to be Forex, if it is going to be stocks, you usually will want to, if you're trading intraday, you want to hone it down to a specific time period during that day. If you're looking to trade overnight, if you're looking to trade the morning session, the afternoon session, after hours, you can do exactly that with this model, and you use the same system. The flexibility of Excel means you can use it for backtesting and for live trading.
Yep. Very good. And the one thing I would make note that I was telling Mark about this week is that if you are using a larger amount of data, 10,000 rows of data on a 5 minute or higher time frame, the temptation is to really curve fit that strategy, which I've done. And the one you'll end up potentially short term disappointed, because if you think about the time frame you're actually curve fitting everything for, there's a lot of different market climates happening. So in the short run, it could be a little better or a little worse than what you're expecting. But I think what you're really looking at is, if you're running that strategy for that many rows of data, you're thinking that's the window that I'm trading. So it's a larger window. And then your strategy over the week does play out to be very, very, very close to your back test. So sometimes I'm pleasantly surprised in the short run and disappointed too. But then if I let it run the entire week, I do get the results that I'm expecting. So
Yeah. I mean, that's a good point, isn't it, for all trading, that
yeah,
if we're back testing over a larger period of data and we're trading or even testing using the same settings on a very small piece of data with fewer data points, we're very unlikely to match the exact results as we got over the larger time period. So we've got our results reliable, we're happy with our strategy, we feel it's robust. We need to stick at it for a period of time to get those same results.
yeah, you do. You can't just give up after like a couple hours of I didn't have my 70% win rate. But
That's exactly right. Yeah, I mean, anytime you look back in the back test, it looks quite smooth, but of course there's always peaks and troughs, and going forward there'll always be peaks and troughs as well. So you can find out all this, you can do your analysis. If you're inclined to do mathematical style analysis in Excel, well, you can easily do that. You want to look at standard deviation or all sorts of complex ways to analyze and understand the robustness of your strategy, well, you can do that in Excel. And then when you're happy with that, you can flick a button effectively, get a smaller amount of data, make the sheet leaner and meaner so it's not got many calculations, and it operates quickly and opens and closes trades with very low latency very quickly.
yeah, it does. It's impressive.
Yeah.
It's
So
really
anybody
impressive.
who's got any comments, is interested in the system or is currently using it or wants to know more, please drop a question or a comment in the comment box on YouTube, and we'll be glad to respond to those.
Yep.
And Bren, you were saying you had some results of your trading. Is that this week or last week?
So over the last week, yeah. So I was running it the whole week long, and I was just letting it run 24/7. to see how it would make out. And there were some moments where I was like, it's not working out. And then it comes around and comes back. So you're like the peaks and troughs are a little bit, you're like shocked in the short run, you don't realize it, but then it all comes back together for you. So you just got to stick with it. Once you've got your strategy, the one thing is, you're eliminating the emotional part of it with your exit strategy, but there's still this emotional thing that I'm experiencing where, in the very short run, in the hours that I'm looking at it during the day, I get like emotional, like, should I turn it off or leave it run? And so I think that the main thing that I learned was that when you've got a robust strategy that you've set up, you've got to let that run to get the results that you're looking for.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't agree more. The emotions is probably the single biggest challenge for almost everybody.
Right.
I don't know how it is for these hedge funds, but judging by their average returns, which over the long term have been quite pitiful, I would say they have similar problems to the rest of us. It's only the very few top guys, these hedge funds and private equity people, that get these crazy results. The average hedge fund results, as judging by all the indices in the indexes that are out there, are pretty average, and a lot of them don't even have the benefit of being particularly different from just buying and holding the SPY or a low-cost equity index ETF. And plus they're a lot more expensive. So emotions are the biggest thing, but you can systematize your own control over it. So if you say, I'm not sure whether to switch it off or on, well, that's something you maybe could systematize as well, isn't it?
Right.
So, and if you've got a rule that you can't switch it off just because you feel bad or it's lost 2 or 3 trades in a row, that's probably a good rule to have. Maybe you can only switch it off at the end of a 24-hour or even a 5-day week period.
Exactly. I think that the main thing is if there's no major news events scheduled, like I think good times to switch it off are during big announcements, like Fed announcements. Those are good times not to run your strategy because those are going to be outlying moves that don't match up with what you've back tested. So that I think that there's really good reasons to turn it off. And I think those are the good ones. Any big announcement, like an employment number in your country, if there's going to be a big number out, your currency could be easily affected by that. So that's not going to be a part of your back test. So I think those are times to turn it off. But then when things settle back down, you turn it back on again.
Yeah. So how would you do that? How would you avoid these big news events? I don't know if you use Forex Factory, something I've used for years and years. It color codes the expected impact of a particular thing.
Yes,
so
those are very, very good.
Yeah, that's pretty handy. It's not the only one, but it's the one I use. It's just been around forever, and it's pretty handy in terms of it's usually got the biggies. It's got when the Federal Reserve board members are talking, whether or not it's official or not. It's got CPI, and it's got information for most of the big currency pairs as well. So
I agree with that.
What could we do with that? Could we automate that? Put that into the to a system to Unity?
Yeah, so I use them. Yeah, I agree with your suggestion's a good one. I've used it, and I also use one from investing.com, which is just an economic calendar with all, and you can filter out which ones you want to see. And they do the same thing where they rate it when it's market making a move. So yeah, I do believe some of that data is available. So we could probably stream it into our spreadsheets to have an on-off switch automatically. Like within like 30 minutes of an announcement, I think we shouldn't be probably involved. And then at least 30 minutes to an hour afterwards to give it a chance to resettle and find a new price stability.
So, I mean, the different ways you could do that. As you say, you could stream it. You could literally just pull it in directly from the website. You could pull it in at the start of the week because usually these things are pretty fixed from from the start of the week. Things do change, but that would cover most situations. You could pull that in and you could program it to say, well, if it's a Monday, there might only be 2 or 3 events to avoid in a typical week. For example, big market moving, non-farm payroll type events, and maybe we could say, if anything, set a condition, because all of this is controlled by conditions. Tuesday at whatever time, no trading between these hours.
Yep, absolutely. I think that's one thing that could really help out for most people because there
Mm.
are times when the market's just too volatile. And then,
Yeah.
yeah, there's always those things that happen that are unexpected. They can cause volatility, but they're so rare. They happen once every couple of years or more. So these types of things that are scheduled, it's just best to avoid them.
Yeah. So we can. On
Um,
the other hand, if we're already in a trade, then
yeah.
what would you do? Just let it run?
So yeah, if you're already in a trade, that's a good question. That's an emotional decision too. Like, do you close it? I would say that if I had a profit in a trade, I would probably close it if I had ample time to do it.
Mm.
Just let it close because yeah, there's chance that you lose your profits for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just one. I think that closing down the trades probably 30 minutes before the announcements is a good idea.
Yeah. So if we're getting into a hot zone, if we're getting, as you say, 30 minutes before CPI data, we could have a
Yep.
condition that says all trades to be closed,
Yeah, yeah, that
for
would be a good
example.
condition. Yep. I haven't personally implemented that as my personal strategy, but I know that I've weathered the storm too many times now that
Mm.
I've got to implement that as part of my strategy.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So once again, anybody got any opinions on any of this? How to avoid news events? How to integrate it into a either a day? I mean, we're talking about day trading here. We're talking about 1 minute, 15 minute, even 60
Yes.
minute time frame. Absolutely fine. But there's no reason, we've talked about it before, you can't use the Unity Excel trading model to run your daily trading strategy,
Yeah,
even
so in a
just.
daily.
Yeah,
Yep.
there's loads and loads of trades that can be taken on a daily time frame that give you plenty of action over the course of a year.
Yep.
Depending on your position sizing, you can get absolutely loads of action, and the markets you choose, you can get lots of action, and you can use Unity to do that. And the beauty of that is you don't need it running all the time.
Right. And that's the other thing. I think also if you're running the daily time frame, then you don't have to worry about these news events so much because they're larger macro events. In fact, those types of events might be the ones that trigger your indicators. So that's a kind of a thing to look forward to. I think on the longer time frames, the news events are something to look forward to because it'll trigger your entries or exits.
Mm.
But I think on the very short, like we've been playing with the 1 minute and the 5 minute, on those time frames, you have to just step aside. But on the longer term, you don't really have to worry about those news events. So yeah, it's kind of very specific to the day trading. The more daily indications aren't really affected that much.
Mm. Yeah. So we're looking at currencies today. We're looking at the euro US dollar. We like the euro US dollar because it's so liquid. The spreads are so low. You can get
Hmm.
whatever position size you like. You can go enormous, you can go tiny, and it
Yep.
is generally available. You can get the contract size you want, and it's very low slippage in general. In my mind, in my opinion, that the euro US dollar is about the best trending currency as well. It really is a good all-rounder from the daily down to the 1 minute time frame. It is a good currency pair to trade, but there's no reason why you can't trade it. ETFs, commodities, individual stocks, absolutely whatever data is available with your broker, you can plug it into Excel, you can backtest it, develop that strategy, optimize it, refine it, go back to the drawing board, but when you're ready, you can forward test it and then trade it live all through Excel.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. And that's the fun of it too.
Mm. So what markets are you using? Are you still on the Forex Pairs
So I
round?
like the Euro USD. That's the one I've been using, and
Yeah.
I've tried. Silver was fun to look at last week. I did enjoy looking at silver, but I found that I still like the Euro USD. I'm
Mm.
getting better results overall. Like there was, I think the silver went into a nice bull run in December, so we had a really good results for that month. But when I look at over the whole year, I think I do better with the Euro USD. So I'm still going back there as my tried and true steady. And that's
Yeah.
a big switch from just a couple years ago. You and I were mostly just focused on the NASDAQ and S&P 500.
Yeah.
So these are big. It's a big switch in what I'm trading, and it's really been better.
Yeah, I would say even compared to those two hugely liquid markets, the euro
Yep,
US dollar compares favorably in terms of spreads,
it
um,
does.
cost of
Yeah.
trading, definitely in terms of position sizing,
Mhm.
flexibility. Um, Trends, well, that's a matter of debate because with stocks, you do have this upward bias over time,
Right.
which also has an effect, but that's less of an influence on these daily shorter time frames that we're talking about at the moment.
For sure. Yep, for sure. And the currency markets have been trending over the last year as well. So yeah, there's been trends there to follow. And if you're a trend follower, I think you can embrace it on different time frames. Like we
Yeah,
get nice daily trends too. So yeah,
yeah,
it's a good market.
yeah. So loads of flexibility with the Unity Excel trading model. If you haven't already, make sure you get on the email list. You'll find out what we're doing. You'll see the plans that are available. You can literally download it and start trading today. Test it out on a demo time frame. If you've got something specific in mind, just drop us an email and we will be delighted to help you with that. Yeah, so we are chugging along today. We took a trade early. We've got another trade open at the moment.
How's our trade doing?
We're on a trade. It's slightly in the red at the moment. How did our earlier trade get on? Let me just have a look. So we're slightly in the red on this one. We closed our earlier trade for a profit.
Nice.
When did we close it? We closed that about 16 minutes ago. We opened up a new trade about 6 minutes ago. We're just slightly in the red on that, but we're going to see which way it goes. We've still got that upward bias, evidently, because we've taken a long trade here. So we'll see where this one goes. But most importantly, as we've spoken about before, we're sticking to the system. We're going to let the spreadsheet, the strategy rules that we have programmed in and we have agreed to, run the show. It's going to open and close the trade for us.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the exciting part about it, letting it do its work. It's kind of like having a trading assistant that's doing all the work for you.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and that reminds me that this is done in Excel. You can do other things. I mean, it's difficult to do other things on the 1 minute time frame, but
Sure.
maybe even a better way of doing it, something we've talked to people about before and people are doing that we know about, is using Unity on a virtual private server, VPS,
Yes.
which has got some big advantages. There's loads of MT5 VPSs, but you can use anything that's got a Windows environment, and you can run Excel, you can run MT5, and you can run the interface all virtually and do whatever it is you'd like to do separate to that.
Yep, absolutely. And as long as you know where the data is available and it's accessible while you're trading, we can help you link it up.
Yeah, yeah. So it's pretty. The whole thing is really very, very smooth. Once you're set up, you've got Excel controlling everything. I'll just quickly demonstrate. We're going to finish the live stream pretty soon today, but I will quickly demonstrate, if you haven't seen me do so before, how easy it is to do this in Excel. If you want to try different profit targets, it's just a click of a button, and you can see over here the results update in real time. If you want to try tighter stop loss combined with a larger profit target, you can see immediately how it's affecting your results.
Yep.
This is certainly something that I would do anytime I'm backtesting. It's have a look at different profit targets and try to increase. I'm really focused, particularly on these short time frames, this average trade size. Make that as big as possible.
Yep.
Clearly, even at the expense of fewer trades, but really try and get the average trade size higher. We've got some built-in filters here. You can flick these on and off and see how they affect the trading strategies. But the key thing is we've got tons of different indicators that you can use, whatever you like, candlesticks, RSI, MACD, whether you like chart patterns, whether you like anything, you can put that into Excel and you can automate it, and you can use Unity to trade that strategy live.
Right. And real quick, Mark, something you just brought up that's really important. You recently brought this up in the last couple of weeks is the trade size, average trade size. We've been talking about it for a while, but I did some notes this week on this. I had a strategy that had really good profitability. Its win rate was like 75%, which looks really, really good. And the average trade size was like under $50 on a $100,000 contract. So Then I looked at the comparison of your average trade size as being the best, profitable. So the next, it was $150 instead of 50, which is a lot better because then slippage and commissions don't affect you as much. And even though it was less profitable, you actually made more money.
Yeah,
For sure.
I totally agree. These shorter time frames, it can be very deceptive. So
Yes.
I
Got
think
to be
that
careful.
average trade size is a key thing because it's got to take into account everything. It's got to be your cost of trading, the
Yeah.
slippage, any fees you need to pay. Everything needs to be rolled into that.
Yeah, you're going to find on the short-term time frame some really, really good winning strategies, but they only make $50 to $30 per trade. And when you look at your slippage and commissions, you're not even really getting any money. You're just going back and forth
Mm,
trading the system, and you're breaking even at best. So, or losing money even.
yeah.
Whereas if you shoot for the average trade size and that's doing well, you actually do make money. And I see that reflected in my actual trading results.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's good. Yeah. So we're going to finish the live training stream. If you've only just joined us, we have been demonstrating the Unity Excel trading model. It is a way that you can trade your strategies algorithmically and mechanically, and you can do it all in Excel. We connect to the prices and we take trades using MT5, MetaTrader 5, which is a good platform. We're not affiliated with it, but it's how it's the best way that we have found to connect Excel to the financial markets. We're taking trades very quickly with minimal slippage. So if you want more information, you're watching this on YouTube, there's a link below this. Please get on the email list and you'll find out more about how you can trade your own strategies live. So I think we'll finish there today. Ren, thank you for joining me. We've had a
Yes,
good another good session.
we
We're still
did.
in that
Yes.
trade. We're still in that
So,
trade. Yeah, still slightly in the red, but we're going to stick to our guns and exit that in accordance with our rules.
sounds good, Mark. Well, I wish you luck on that one, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you for hosting today.
Okay, yeah, great to speak to you. And we will be doing another one of these next week at the same time. And please get in touch with us. Drop us an email if you want to learn more, or you have some specific requests, something you want to specifically ask us about.
Yep.
So I look forward to speaking to you on the next live stream next week.
See you next week, Mark. Have a good one.